Hi, Thumos gentlemen. Welcome back. Hope you have an amazing day. So today we're going to discuss prawn addiction. Okay, and I get an overwhelming amount of questions. How do I beat this prawn addiction? I keep returning to it. I've gone 200 days, and then I end up getting back into it, and I have this lust, and I just get sucked into it. And these guys are like, you know what? I don't want to live like this. I don't want to have this addiction in my life because it feels like I'm draining myself. I'm being corrupted. And a lot of people say, it's no big deal. Watch all the prawn you want. It takes the edge off. It relieves some stress. And I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. So to start this video, let's just take a look at this awesome little picture, which is a sticker that I received at the gym that I go to. Live Large. It's a fitness brand, Live Large. And what we see here is some sort of lion on the front, some strong animal. And I was thinking to myself that on the walk today, I was like, in any motivational picture, quote, brand, fitness, t-shirt, whatever it is, you always see some sort of king of the jungle, powerful animal. You always see a lion. You see an ape, a gorilla. Gymshark, you see a powerful shark. You don't see Gym Worm. There's no Gym Worm. It's Gymshark. You see a wolf. You see a tiger. You never see these lowly animals. We never associate strength and intelligence and honor with or courage with lowly insects, a beetle. We call people of a lowly nature that disgust us, we call them worms. We call them roaches. We call them rats, snakes, things that crawl on their belly, things that are in the dirt, worms. We call them a slug. So we think of these lowly creatures as the bottom of the hierarchy. We think of them as insects, low intelligence, weakness. Even the ant we respect because of what? Its incredible strength. So we look to these animals as higher intelligence, strength, courage, fierceness. So what about humans? Well, humans look to that as the peak, as an upward vision, something to ascend to, something to reach. And what I've realized is that the world we live in tends to lose touch with that vision and to sort of keep us on this very lowly insect animal-like nature. My personal belief is that humans are more than humans. Humans are not mere animals. Of course, we have Darwinism, which says that we evolved, and I think that's true. But even that being the case, I don't think that's all there is. I think that we're more than humans. We're superhumans. And as a man, almost in the words of Nietzsche, we're becoming an Ubermensch. A couple of us, a few of the men left these days are chasing that Superman, that Ubermensch. That means becoming more than human, becoming more than your base nature. And so what I've realized is that a lot of the things that we find that plague our life are things that bring us back down to an insect-like, very animalistic behavior. They satiate these animalistic, lustful desires and things that are not more than human. They're not Ubermensch. They're not superhuman. So we find ourselves getting caught up in this whirlwind of activities that degrade and decay our spirit. And I believe that pornography is one of those things. And it's one of those things that is so readily and easily available that can completely corrupt a spirit. And when I say that, I don't just mean this woo-woo, hippie, ooh, corrupts your spirit. No, I'm saying down to the core of you, it brings you to ruin. And it make those images stick in your head, and they change the way that you connect with other people. They change the way that you view women. They sort of take away this oomph for life by giving that oomph to some pixel digital fantasy world. I've said this before, but a lot of us make fun of WWE. Oh, wrestling's fake. Wrestling's just guys acting. They're not even really hitting each other. It's fake. So is porn. So it's fake. And we're getting off on this fakeness, but also at the same time consuming this cuckadry. And we're watching other people perform these acts, a lot of them are just more and more degenerate. It's becoming where it's all this stepsister stuff. Like you're gonna go and F your stepsister, like it's the normal. And it's sort of this slow waning effect. Like it wears on you, man. It wears on you. It starts to corrupt you from the inside. And what I realized a long time ago is that, when people ask me this question, how do I overcome this addiction? Well, how do I overcome this desire to constantly return to this? I want to get away. Okay. Well, it's not really something that you are just going to be able to do. It's not like a willpower thing. Like if you're in this war, you're warring with something. You're constantly fighting. You're going to be overcome by it, right? It's not just like this thing that you want to constantly put your willpower to, and try not to do, because it's deeper than that. It's not just flesh and blood, and you can't just use your willpower all the time. The best thing to do is just become aware. You want to become aware of when you get this urge to go and do it, okay? And you just want to be aware, and you want to catch yourself. But also, let's bring this to a deeper level, to a more super level, is that you as a human are not just merely human. You're not just flesh and blood. It says in the Bible, Ephesians 6:12, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in heavenly places. I used to think that it meant everyone else. We do not wrestle against things that are just flesh and blood. The truth is, we don't wrestle against just ourselves that are flesh and blood. We wrestle against something greater. This is a spiritual battle, man. This is a battle that we're fighting from someone else. So a lot of people think of the Tiny Hat tribe controls everything. They think of the Illuminati, the Masons. No matter who it is, what group it is, I don't care. But there's something going on that it's going to change the minds of the men in the world today to create a future that is more easily controlled, that serves their purpose. So you're not just fighting this little battle, your little selfish battle between you and Prawn. No, it's something much greater than that. You're fighting a bigger war, man. You're fighting a spiritual war for the minds and the hearts of men all over the place. And you're supposed to be a pillar of light in these times, a pillar of strength. You're supposed to have a spirit of power and love that reaches out to men everywhere, that can be a guiding light to help them get on track, to be a role model. And when you decide to live in a base nature, become more insect-like, well, then you lose that strength and that courage that you have been given if you just live with your eyes on the right thing, okay? So it's bigger than you. And I would take on that myth. I would incorporate that myth into your life, to take on this stance of, this isn't just like something that I'm doing and I'm struggling with. No, a lot of people are struggling with this. You're fighting a war, man. And so when you decide to give into that and become a slave to these vices, then what you're doing is you're losing the war and they're winning. You're letting them win. And you're giving up this immense power that you have. And you're keeping your eyes, you're just getting off the narrow path. So what does it tell us to do? Well, it tells us right after this verse. Let's read it again. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. 13, therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand firm, stand therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and as shoes for your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel of peace. In all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one. Be righteous, man. Be righteous. Take on the myth that you need to be righteous because you're fighting a bigger war and you don't want to let the enemy win. You take on a stance like that, it gives a lot of gravity to your circumstance. And it makes you almost turn your eyes away from what is evil and lowly, because you know that it affects you. Okay? So take on that stance, cultivate this myth in your life that you're a warrior. You're fighting in a bigger war. It's not just you. It's not just flesh and blood. It's not just you alone in the world kind of dealing with your depression and all these weird things that you're getting into. No, like, your life has a bigger meaning. You need to take up that stance, all right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this message. Be blessed, and I will see you soon. Peace.